We're back. Scores are here. So we just did an hour plus recording of all of this that you're seeing here. And then I couldn't move my mouse. It's one of these things where I couldn't move my mouse and I had to reset my computer and it took a long time. And so I'm just going to briefly fly over all these games here tonight and then we'll get current because we weren't quite done yet. We had just recorded Texas Tech and Texas, and we had another 5 games left. So let's just briefly go over these real quick. We'll touch on the highlights, and we'll just skip the lowlights. How about that? First off, we went 1-4 on this first string. This today being Tuesday, February 1st, where we lost Boston College and Virginia, Boston College. We had the dog. Virginia prevailed and they covered the line. UConn prevailed and covered the. No, I take that back. UConn failed to cover the line. Creighton was the right play, and so we started 0-2, and then Ohio did beat Ball State by 24. The line was 11.5, so we did get our first win here. Lost Bowling Green, Central Michigan. Central Michigan won the game over Bowling Green, and despite Vegas saying that Bowling Green was 6.5, we said Bowling Green by 21, and we were way wrong. So Central Michigan was the victor there. Siena at home to Canisius, 4.5 was the line. 8 points. Siena did cover. We had the dog here with Canisius, so we ended up going 1-4 on that stream. Unimpressive, not good. Then we had our first of, I believe, 3 money line plays with Davidson being the underdog at St. Bonaventure. We said that Davidson would win the game, and they did. So that's when the underdog beats the favorite, and you call it in advance. That's a money line up. That's a money line play, and it pays you back more than these other straight up plays pay back. Kansas on the road to Iowa State. Kansas coming off that horrible loss to Kentucky and had something to prove, and they went to Iowa State and they proved it. So the line was 3.5. They won by 9. We said by 7, but Kansas was right play here. Then we lost Miami of Ohio. We lost Michigan State. Michigan State was supposed to beat Maryland by 3.5. They only beat them by 2. So we lost that one. Northern Illinois was our next money line opportunity, where Vegas had Western Michigan at home. Western Michigan is awful. Northern Illinois is just north of awful, but it was a money line play because Northern Illinois, the away dog, did win the game, as we suggested that they would. So that's a money line win. Richmond won and covered. Rutgers, so it was 4.5. And Rutgers only lost by 1, so we got the dog there, so that's good. South Carolina on the road to Mississippi State. Mississippi State won by 14. The line was 7.5, so we took the dog and lost there. Tennessee 11.5 over Texas A&M. We said no, only by 10, and it was only by 10. So good call by the computer there. So we're back in the win column. Toledo, who we think is the best team in the Mid-America. On the road to East Michigan, who's not good. The line was 10.5. Toledo won by 20. And we had Toledo. So we went 4-1 on the second string. North Carolina on the road to Louisville. North Carolina laying 2.5. We said they'd beat them by more than that, and they did by 7. So North Carolina was a good play. Here a half point saved us. Seton Hall over Georgetown. The line was 6.5. We said they'd win by 16. They won by 7, which is greater than 6.5. So Seton Hall prevailed for us there. Utah State beat the hell out of Air Force. It was 14.5. We said 17, so we took Utah State and they won by 27. Auburn at home to Alabama. I'm sure we all recognize this as a very important game in the SEC. and in the national rankings for that matter. The line was 5.5, and Auburn beat Alabama by 19. LSU at home to Ole Miss. LSU with some monster numbers. And Vegas said 13.5. We said 18, and then Ole Miss won by 4. So bye-bye, LSU. You're out of the top 5. You please go away. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of watching you lose. You're such a good team, but you just keep losing, and I can't have that. Michigan at home to Nebraska was supposed to be 14.5. The computer agreed, said 16. They only won by 6, so that's a bad play. Providence is our next money line. St. John's was actually laying 3.5 to Providence at home, and we said Providence would win the game. So that's your money line play, and it converted. So that's our third money line. Texas Tech at home to Texas. The line was 5.5. We said Texas would show up and play stronger, but Texas Tech beat them by 13, so that's a bad play for us. And this is where we left off. Wichita State, the line was 7.5. Wichita State won by 10. We said it would be 8, right at that line, but Wichita did get over the line. And that's a win for the computer. So now I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. I'm going to go to that Big 12 because this is when the computer crashed. We go back into the Big 12, make sure we got that Texas Tech final. Make sure that is logged and correct, and that it's logged, but it's not correct. This is where we crashed. So let's get rid of this. Let's try this whole thing again. What we want is Texas Tech's overall power rating to move into the Texas strength of schedule column is what we want. So we're going to grab this Texas Tech, and we're going to move it in here. And this should say 8.74 or 8.75, depending on if there's any adjustments. And okay, so we are back to where we left off. And boy, I wish I could tell you I had a ton of great material here. Y'all missed it, but it was just me talking, so who cares? Okay, so that game's been logged, and time to move on to Stanford and Cal. So the line's 4.5, and we say Stanford wins by 7. And let's see what happened in this ball game. So Stanford wins 57-50. The line was 4.5. They won by 7, just like we said. And so that's a win for the computer. So we went 3 and 2. We're having a good night tonight. We'll look at the percentages here in just a moment. But let's get this game in the books here. Stanford wins 57-50. Let's go to the Pac-12. Make it official. $57.50 versus Cal. Let's go grab Cal's info and move it into Stanford's strength of schedule column. And then 50-57, California loses to Stanford. Let's get that recorded. Go grab Stanford. So I hope you see what we're doing here. We're moving Stanford's overall power rating into Cal's strength of schedule column, okay? So the final score was a 7-point loss for Cal, and they lost to a 9.59 team in Stanford, and they're at 10.69. So the lower the OPR, the better. So everything makes sense in that game. but not everything makes sense every time. Trust me, there's lots of times where it's like, well, how does that make any kind of sense? And it doesn't. Okay, UC Riverside at home to Davis. The line's 5.5, but we have a 4-point game. So we're taking Davis as the dog here. So let's see how this game played out. Riverside, well, they lost. So Davis wins 65-60. So that automatically gives us a victory. We'll take these. We'll take any kind of victory we can get. And let's get that annotated. Now, here's the thing with the Big West. There's just not a ton of finals with the Big West. So, is this a surprise? No, I don't know. All I know is that tonight UC Davis beat UC Riverside by 5. And that's how we're going to record this game. And if that shakes things up, then fine. But I don't think it will, because we don't have a lot of data on the Big West. That they've only played like 12 or 13 games, for the rest of Division I college basketball has played like 21. So here's 14. That's a big number. Here's 14. They're just behind, and it's not even because of COVID. They just don't play an aggressive schedule. They just don't get out there and play 20 games, as fast as they can. They play them as slowly as they can. And I don't know why, but that's pervasive in the Big West. Is just weird. This is all I can say. Okay. So that's a win for us. That game has been recorded. We have UNLV at home to Nevada, who crapped the bed. There's no other way to put it, but Nevada lost by 30 or something at home to Utah State, where it's almost like a defining moment for the program. Are we good? Are we bad? Are we mediocre? Well, Colorado State, or Utah State rather, pretty much told you you're bad, Nevada. UNLV's not too bad. And let's see who won this game. Where is it? I don't see it here. Okay, so it's still going on. UNLV is leading by 10, 58-48. Let's see how much time is left. About 5 minutes. So we're not going to be able to hold on. Fresno is beating San Jose 53-36. So we're going to leave you with those games. We're going to count the one that we do know about. And let's go look at how we're looking tonight, because it's not a bad night. All right, 15 wins, 10 losses, right at 60%. We did have 3 money line plays, taking us to 73. So after a couple of nights in the 30s, we bounced back up to the 60s. And you know what? I'm going to take that. I'm going to be happy with it. We'll get those last 2 games scores finaled. Right now, they're both looking to go our way. Fresno State's got a little bit. No, they're good. 2.5, yeah. So both these games looking to go our way, and we're just going to take that, and we're not going to bitch and complain about anything tonight. So we're in the 60s, and I think we're going to be a little north of 60% tonight. So that's good for us. So that's going to do it. I apologize for the abbreviated recap for Tuesday night, but just had a little trouble with the computer, and it's good to see that we're back working again. So at this point, I'm just going to bid you all an adieu and catch you next time. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.